Hey guys, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. I'm doing a little story time. Not so much a fun story for me, but it's from last night of why I logged off early from dance, and I'm gonna get into that. But first, I'm enjoying this day off. Like this day off of dance is like I never thought it would come. Like for me, I love dance so much, but it does get tiring in the sense that I get tired. You know, when I'm dancing 5 days a week, and having 2 days off, those 2 days my body's regenerating, so I be up and ready for dance the next day. Cause it's not like, oh, I get 2 days in a row. No. Oh, I get a Tuesday, which is today, and I get a Saturday. And so, they're very far apart from each other. And so, for me, literally what happened was the last Thursday, and this last Thursday, I danced for 2 hours. I had dance that day. Friday there was an acro class I didn't do because I needed that one more day of saying goodbye to my summer break and moving on to just dance all summer. Well, not all summer, but moving on to dance and stuff and continuing dance. So that one day break was amazing. And then Saturday there wasn't any dance. And so we just kind of did Sam's birthday. And then Sunday, which was the day before yesterday, I had 2 hours in. It was supposed to be 2 hours and 15 minutes, but ended up being 2.5 hours. So, yeah, and it was tiring. To the point where Abby was making us work. Literally, that day was actually kind of hard since I was juggling so much, in my brain, I would kind of, kind of just, personal, stuff that I'm not going to put out on the internet, not allowed to. And, seeing family and dancing and also, just kind of being in a little bit more of, a tiring mood. That day, I woke up kind of early because Sam got me up, because Sam likes to do, he likes to, I whine and bark and I come up to me and start sniffing me and start kissing. He likes to get me up in the morning and just so I can play with him or just so he can go outside to use the bathroom. Even though most days my dad puts him out and then brings him back into the bedroom so he can be with me. And so so much was being juggled, and Abby immediately, the first thing so she went around and she everyone got to say their name and where they're from. She didn't need their age. And I felt safe doing that because I don't give out my location. I don't give out but I felt since it was Abby and the recording, because it was recording on the screen, since that was literally for the purpose of no one was going to see that, just the people on Zoom, and it was kind of for Abby's sake and stuff. So I told her and stuff, and then because it was safe, it wasn't going out anywhere. Literally, yes, a couple of strangers knew. And it wasn't oh, I gave my address. I literally just gave the state and the town. And it was a couple strangers that were kids there to dance, and it was mainly Abby. So it wasn't a big deal. At all, it was super safe. Everything was safe and stuff. Then, and the first thing when we first got started, you're gonna start jogging in place now. And then we kept switching from jumping jacks to jogging. It was tiring that day. And at least with Thursday, it was manageable because it was ballet. It wasn't crazy tired, but I would say, like, I'm dancing, so, like, yeah. But, like, I'm not big into ballet and stuff. Then, yesterday, it was straight into dance. And yesterday was tiring. Like, yesterday was tiring. And to the point where, like, we literally were, like, we started off with tap. And immediately, I was turning on my air conditioner to the highest setting, which is high cool. And it was like everything was like on the highest setting possible. And then the door was shut, and I was still sweating with my room was like, I literally Sam walked into my room because I opened the door so he could come in, and I'm like, quickly get in, don't let the cold air go out. So he came in, and then he kind of seemed weird, and I'm like, so I'm guessing my room was like freezing cold, and yet I was still sweating and hot. So they made us work. But what happened was that we had just finished like warm up and stretch, and meaning we had did the first two things, which were tap, warm up, and stretch, and we were getting ready to move on to some jumps and turns, and literally at the very, very end of warm up and stretch, like the tip of my toenail, if you get gross, well, this one's it's not that gross, but if you get grossed out, like, just don't look for like a couple seconds. Like, peeled off. You can look. Like, what had happened was that, like, a bug went up in my toenail, and I sprayed it with some spray, and it was really bad. Actually, well, yeah, that did happen. And it sounds like I'm lying there now. I'm generally not like that. Actually did happen. Yes, like before, I was kind of like picking at it a little bit, but I literally used scissors and I cut there because the toenail was really long, and it had this one point on like part of it sticking out. So I literally like trimmed it down. Everything was fine, like no big deal. And then all of a sudden, and I looked down because something seemed weird, and I saw a bug go up into my toenail. And next thing you know, I sprained my foot really fast, and I'm just trying to like finish warm and stretch, and then all of a sudden, and I looked down, and the bug, fell out. Like, when I looked down, the bug fell out and was dead. But my toenail, like the top part of my toenail, was gone. And my toe was basically bleeding. Like, it wasn't bleeding like that, or that bad, but like it was bleeding a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. So then literally what happened was I called my dad, or I got my dad to come back. He brought a Band-Aid, PJ Masks Band-Aid, because that's what we had. And I put a Band-Aid on it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to add some tape to this because there's no way this is staying on with my sweat. Because, I was sweaty, there was no way it was going to stay on with me being sweaty, but also on top of it through dance in general. So I grabbed the tape, and luckily we went on break, and I just started taping it to the point where what I had did was I taped all of my toes together, kind of, but my big toe, I taped them all together, like, so many layers of tape, and then I went like, well, there's no way I'm gonna make it through dance because I can't do any form of jumps or turns on this. Actually, now that I think about it, I feel like I kind of feel like oh yeah. It wasn't warm up and stretch that we had finished, like, we were working on jumps and turns, about to get into, like, the last little section of jumps and turns. And, yeah, it was really, like, and I couldn't do anything with it, like, I couldn't dance with it, but if I took the tape off, maybe I could dance a little bit, but the Band-Aid was going to come off and I was going to get blood on the carpet. Like, it was a mess, so I ended up just, like, I would turned my camera off and I sat there for a minute and I just kind of watched some of the other people. Oh, and then I logged off. Luckily, there was only 30 more minutes of dance left anyways, so it wasn't even a big deal. But yeah, I'm like, I had to leave dance. And then, to make it worse, what happened? Airplane. So, like, to make it worse, you can't see it because of how, and that night, like last night, me and my dad had watched something, and it was my dad's night to pick. We had watched something oh wait, it was something with, like, Miley Cyrus in it or something. And then we watched one episode of a show that me and my dad both like, which is Lab Rats. It's on Disney Plus, and it's really good show about, like, these bionic, like, superhero, like, they're like bionic humans or something, like superhumans or something. I don't fully know. And so, like, we had watched that, like, and I got up because it was like, at the point it was like 12:30 at night. I got up and used the bathroom. And don't worry, we were, like, way done with watching the movie and stuff. Like, we finished around, like, 10 or something. And then I got up, used the bathroom, and all of a sudden my other foot felt weird, like the one toe. Oh, I'm going to show you. It's not that gross, but if you get grossed out, look away. You can't see it. Let me see if I get close enough. If you can kind of, but not really. Okay, you can look. But, I was using the bathroom and I looked down at my toe and I got really close to it because something seemed off, and I realized there's a little, like, a very, very, very tiny, like, black, like, thorn or something in my toe. And we can't get it out. Like, it's the situation. So literally, like, me and my dad, like, I picked that and I, like, told my dad. And he looked, and he couldn't see it with how small it was. And then, like, I started scraping with my fingers and stuff, and, like, trying everything to get out, like, scraping. We ended up not getting it out, but it also is not bothering me. Plus, it will eventually fall out. Anyways, since it's not bothering me, it just kind of, I could tell something seemed off. So it's not bothering me or anything, and so that's good. So at this point, we're just gonna, like, leave it. And we tried, like, picking at it with my thing, or if we tried like using scissors, don't worry, we did not cut. We literally opened the scissors. I'm actually going to grab this pair to show you exactly. Like, the ones that we were using opened up a little bit, but we were doing something like this and just kind of slightly scraping. And plus, I'm about to, yesterday I started on a new list of like new goals I want to accomplish and stuff, and I'm about to add on to that list. We couldn't get it out. We tried wiping it with, so anyways, that's kind of there. So yesterday was kind of a mess, and I was really tired yesterday. Which is weird because I slept in yesterday until like after 9:30 at least. I would say almost 10. And then, yeah, that, and then I think part of it was because I was kind of, like, keeping this house together for, like, a couple hours because my dad went to the doctor and had to get something done. And that sounds not fun at all. Yeah, because I don't fully, something with his back or something, and I think there was like a bump or something on it, I don't know. And then like, also Sunday was really bad because Sunday for me, like, things were, like, we were talking with family, I'm in dance, and like, I just think that like, I don't like to think about because personal life stuff, because it really gets me upset and stuff. Like, we're being brought up, and like, it gets me upset in the sense with people, and it like makes me not want to forgive them. But anyway, like, I don't know. That's something that I'm still thinking about, making my decision and then stuff. So yeah, like, there's some stuff, but so like, yeah, that sort of stuff. And then today my dad went back, but luckily today it wasn't to get anything done. It was literally just to get a new bandage put on because yesterday, like, because he needed to get a new one put on and stuff. So yeah, I'm just I'm tired. And then tomorrow I think I start dance kind of early, but I'm also in a way hoping I end really early, if that makes sense. Like, in a way, as much as I love dance, I love it so much, but there's times when I'm like, can it only be like a short time, like a maybe 1 or 2 hours, because I get tired. And then like notifications pile up on YouTube and TikTok for me, and like, it's a mess. But I really do love dance in so many ways. So tomorrow, I'm literally not forcing myself this, like, probably for like the rest of the week, I don't know. I'm not gonna force myself to get up and film because my brain is still making that transition. Like, here's the thing, I like danced for like almost 4 months now, like almost 4 months, and in that time period, at one point there was like I want to say around a week, like a little like summer break type thing, and I'm like, I also, so like, yeah, it was an interesting thing, and so like, my brain, for some reason, is like, can we just go back on summer break? And I'm like, no, because I really love dance and like all of that.